I do not call these brothers Salafi. I'm just being honest with you. These brothers, in my eyes, are not Salafi. They have done nothing other than what other people of deviance have done. They have taken bits and pieces of the haqq and they have co-opted it and they have manipulated it to create their own methodology. Oh. Nothing that you see these brothers do, say, propagate is anything you find the Salaf doing. Tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. This whole idea, the guy just gave a khutbah the last week or gave a lecture and he said, having a girlfriend is better than sitting with Shadid Muhammad or Tahir Waish.
We're drinking alcohol too.
Wallahi, what you're doing, let me tell you what you're doing, right? This is none other than the methodology of the Murji'ah, right? Where sins are not that bad. They don't really affect me like that. No. So when you say something like sitting with the people of deviance is worse than fornication and drinking khamr. Okay, so first of all, genius, when the scholars made those type of statements, they made them to an environment that had already shunned sin. Sin was already shunned, detestable, hated. You understand what I'm saying? وَكَرَّهَ إِلَيْكَ الْكُفْرَ وَالْفُسُوقَ وَالْإِسْيَانَ. They lived by that. That was their code of ethic. Yeah. So when a scholar during that time says sitting with the people of innovation is worse than sin, what is that actually, what is that? What are they saying? They're saying that innovation, as you see sin, innovation is worse than the way you see sin. What are we saying when we say having a girlfriend or drinking khamr is not as bad as sitting with Shadid Muhammad? You're legalizing sin.
To a people that's already sinning.
To a people that are already sinning, Akhi. To people who are already don't see anything wrong with sin. Yeah. You're making our brothers immoral. You're legalizing sin. Just like the whole idea of oral sex not being considered zina. Yeah, absolutely. Oral sex is not zina. So almost like what Ali said about the Khawarij. Ali used to give the khutbah, the Khawarij would bust in the masjid, no respect, and yell at the top of their lungs, La hukma illa lillah, there's no judge except Allah. And Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, Kalimatul haq urida biha batil. It's a true statement, but they only desire by it falsehood. So when you say, oh, oral sex is not zina, true, it's not the zina of, you know, being flogged 100 times or being stoned to death. It's adultery. No, it's not that level of zina. But what you are saying is that it's not that bad. It's less in sin than the actual act of doing it.
Well, at least you are anyway.
Right. So what you're doing is you're making this distinction between major sin and minor sin. Into the Salaf, all sin was major.
Do you believe these brothers are knowingly doing this?
Man, please. These brothers know exactly what they're doing. Because they are interpreting Islam through their own sinful lens. Let me give you the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّ الْحَلَالَ بَيِّنْ وَالْحَرَامَ بَيِّنْ وَبَيْنَهُمَا أُمُورٌ مُشْتَبِهَاتٌ لَا يَعْلَمُهُنَّ كَثِيرٌ مِنَ النَّاسِ. Right? He said the halal is clear, the haram is clear, and in between the two is gray matters. Pay attention. Showing you that when a person, in terms of their integrity and their morality, when that starts to slip, you start to use Islam to justify your slip of your morality and your integrity. Because you can't come out and own it and say, I'm just a fasik. You're not going to come out and say that. So what you got to do is you got to twist and turn and manipulate Islam so it justifies where you are in your place. The Prophet ﷺ said that the halal is clear, the haram is clear, and in between the two are doubtful matters that most people don't know about. Right? What did he say? He said, فَمَنِ اتَّقَى الشُّبُهَاتِ. Whoever stays away from the doubtful matters, what does he do? He protects his ird, he protects his honor, and his deen. But the person who does not fear the shubuhat, does not stay away, then he is like a person who grazes his animal around the sanctuary, and perhaps he's going to fall in. Yeah, exactly. Right? So basically, what is the Prophet ﷺ saying in this hadith? Meaning, the more you fear Allah, the more you're going to stay away from doubtful issues, to protect your honor and to protect your deen. But if you don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you are going to you're going to traverse that path of shubuhat and doubtful matters and issues that are really of no relevance, right? Because that is a reflection of where you are in your fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they stay away from, and you will never hear the Salaf uttering a comment like sin is not as bad as bid'ah amongst the people who are already immersed in sin. Because what you're doing is you're already enhancing. You're giving them a pass to sin.
Yes.
So as long as I stay away from Shadeed Muhammad, I'm good. But you got your pants above your ankles. You got a liquor bottle in your back pocket, right? Or you got a gun on you that is an unregistered, weapon. You hang out with drug dealers, but you're not committing bid'ah. So as long as you stay away from bid'ah, you're good.
Now we see it right there. Here we see the brothers. They got their pants cut, got big beards.
Yeah,
You're the biggest drug dealer in the neighborhood, but we deviants.
Right.
Won't pray behind us enough.
Absolutely. They won't pray behind. You saying to yourself, dude, you need to pray behind somebody.
Somebody, yeah.
What the hell you mean I don't take from him? Dude, you ought to take from somebody. What you mean you don't take from him? You don't take from nobody.